The economy in this game has never been better, and if you don't believe me, then you need to join me in this video. What is going on, everyone? I'm BPG and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I make at least 2 Marvel Strike Force videos every single week, usually based around the events within the game. However, sometimes I do get time to sprinkle in other videos just like this one right here. So if you find the content in this video helpful, please do consider giving it a like, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any other BPG uploads. And if you're new around here or not, why not stick a comment down below? I love to speak to each and every single one of you, and we have an awesome community here on the BPG channel. All right, so what is building positively? Well, in a nutshell, it's basically growing our roster while staying within the constraints of the game and staying free to play. It is how I play this game. This doesn't mean that it is the right way to play it, but I've got some pretty good results. And what do we need to know to be able to build positively? We need to know our resource income. That's going to be pretty handy. Knowing what resources we've got coming into our accounts is very, very useful. And we need to know the character release schedule and at least how we might get characters given the new character release methods free to play. And what can we do? Well, using those two pieces of information, we can come up with a strategy of how to best build our characters to keep up with the meta. And who is this for? Well, I am a sort of end game player, mid to end game player. But this will work for any account. A lot of the things I say in this will work no matter how big you are. You just need to be in the right place, doing the right things, and you'll find your roster moving forwards quite nicely. So let's recap our resource income. And before we do that, I want to just go over where I am in the game. Just to be completely transparent with you guys so you can see where this resource comes from. So here we are in the game. I am part of the Jetson Squad community. Some people call it a cluster. We don't like that word though. We are a community in the Jetson Squad and I am part of the Locked Alliance. 59 million TCP. We have been playing for 755 days. So we are currently 371 in the raid season and we are 1500 in the war season. However, we have had a pretty bad set of wars recently. We normally range in the top sort of 500 to 600 of war, but we'll end up outside of that this season. I do not doubt that. Personally, so arena, I am rank 9. I usually rank between rank 20 and rank 9, so I'm in the top 20 players in my arena shard. And where Cosmic Crucible is concerned, we are plat 1, nearly falling out of plat 1, but we are still there holding on strong at the moment. Okay, so now we've taken a look at where I am. Let's take a look at how our resources are looking. And first we're going to go over our gold income. So I started this around April, tracking all of this, and in April we had 161 million gold come into our account over 30 days. That gave us 5.3 million gold on average to spend per day. May jumped again, 178 million gold, 5.7 million to spend every day. June jumped dramatically, 239 million, nearly 8 million gold to spend every day. July was even better at 264 million. Again, we went over that 8 million gold, 8.5 million gold per day we could spend based on our income in July. And August didn't finish far behind July. 263,589,990, which gave us 8.5 million gold to spend every single day if we wanted to, and that would keep us at parity. Now let's look at September and how that worked. So we can see here that we had a total gold income over 30 days in September of 291,581,240, You will see there are characters who I have built on one day straight to level 100, and I've also put up to gear tier 18 on these guys. So we've had Sentinel, Nimrod and Ares all built in this month, right from the bottom to the tippy top. Now, I am not the first content creator to do this. Rage Gaming, I want to give a massive shout out to him because it was his videos that gave me the ideas, and to be fair, it was his videos that encouraged me when I was early game playing this and encouraged me to get into content creating in a way as well. And he has dropped a video a few days ago now with his September 2024 Insane Gold update. As I said, he's been doing this for a bit longer than me. I've gone back as far as January with his. And you can see that steadily the gold income into our accounts has been coming quite steadily and also increasing all the time. In fact, September is double what he bought into his account in April and May. I know he has finished Dark Dimension 7 in September, so that could account for the slight difference between my balance and his income over the September balance. The other thing we're going to look at is our training material income. So in August, our training material income, we got enough training materials into the account just by doing the standard 600 energy per day on the campaign nodes. Some days I wouldn't do that because I would be hoarding for any event that came up with a leaderboard, which is what I'm currently doing as well. And this is the gold cost of training materials that come into your account when you're sat at Plat 1. Obviously, if you're a lot slightly lower, your income of training materials will be slightly lower. And here we have the gold cost stroke training material cost to level a new character from level 1 to level 100. And I've put these breakpoints in because the 70, 80, 90, 95 and 100, those are the breakpoints if I'm going to build a character over a 5-day period. So the total characters we could fully level from 1 to 100 in August would have been 8.94. How did September's training material income look? Well, 212 million gold's worth of training materials came into the account over 30 days. So more training materials, lower number of days. Bit like the gold though and the training materials, we did have this repeat on the Pocket Dimension where we were able to do it once a day rather than just 2 individual runs on Pocket Dimension. So that did bring additional training materials and additional gold into the account, which we might not have in October, but we will account for that next month. And so if we were going to look at fully leveling characters in September, we could have done 9 characters. So we are over that magic 9 character number. T4s is another supposed bottleneck, but I want to tell you that T4s are not a real bottleneck. Again, complete and utter transparency here. Blocked, the alliance that I'm in, we do Spotlight Raid 1.2 for the hardest difficulty, and we 100% complete that every single day. So we are getting some decent amount of power cores, of T4s coming into our accounts daily. But you will see here that my total T4 income over the course of September was 4,335. Now, it takes 840 T4s if we want a fully T4 character. Not that we ever do, but based on the income from September and that total of 840, we could actually bring 5 characters to full T4s. That is pretty good in my honest opinion. And now the big one, the power core income. Why are we going over the power core income? Well, with the new character release strategy that Scopely has put out, we have to come up with a counter strategy to account for this, else we are going to fall way behind as a free-to-play account. And so we need to know what we've got coming in. And in September, I had a total power core income of 18,190 power cores. That is by staying within the top 20 players within your arena shard. And how do we do that? Well, we focus on building the right characters for our arena. And speaking about focusing on characters, let's take a look at the character releases from this year so far. So those of you who have been on the Build Positively videos before and seen them, you would have seen that this has been around for a little while now. We track the characters, and we have done since the beginning of 2024. I've also got a 2023 list. And basically the only change I've made to this spreadsheet now is that instead of doing the days between free-to-play release events, I've now done days between initial release. With this phase 1 release, it is quite possible that you could open a jackpot orb on day 1 when the character is released from the phase 1 slow trickle orbs. And so we've got to take that into account where we are doing that. You might also be coring with the extra cores that we've got coming into the account. You might be opening core orbs, which will be expediting the process of unlocking characters. So again, I need to take that into account, which is why we're now looking at days between initial release. Coming up to present day now, we've had the Annihilators, we've had the Orcus team, and the newest team on the block, which has started on Tuesday the 1st of October, is the Night Stalkers team with Blade's initial release. We'll have Oath probably in a few days time, and then Man-Thing a little bit after that. But with all of these releases and the times between the free-to-play releases or their initial releases, how many characters per month do you think that we are getting? I'll give you 5 seconds. Put a comment down below. Let me know what you think we have every single month coming out. I can tell you that the average days between releases currently is 10.67 days. That means that we have roughly 3 characters every single month coming out for Marvel Strike Force. Now then, we have our character building strategy for October 2024. And I love this picture right here. This whole thing about strategy and what we've got to do. So we've got to think about our strategy. We've got to plan our strategy. So we've already slightly done the thinking part because we've gone over all the data that we know so that we can build this strategy. So we've got our gold income, we've got our power core income, we've got our T4 income, we've got our training material income. We know what's coming into the account. We also know how many characters roughly we should be expecting on a monthly basis from the game. So now we can put a plan into place and plan our strategy out. And for those of you who are new around here, welcome to the BPG car showroom. Yes, we have some lovely cars here, and some of you might go, well, why are we in a car showroom, BPG? Well, I'll tell you why. Because Marvel Strike Force and characters in Marvel Strike Force are very much like cars. If you buy a brand new car and take it off the forecourt, it starts to depreciate in value. And characters in Marvel Strike Force also start to depreciate in value from the time they are released, which is why we need to unlock them as soon as possible. That is what advantage the spenders get, is they get to buy those characters and unlock them on day 1 and use them from day 1 so they get the most use out of those characters. And so here is the character build strategy that we have been coming up with and been using since sort of April. So we know roughly we've got 10 days between character releases. That means the first 5 days of a character's release, we could slow level. So what do I mean by slow level? I mean basically to take them up from level 1 to 70, and then 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 95, and 95 to 100. And you could potentially put gear tier 19 in there if the character is worth it. This is keeping us within a good sort of 6 million gold. Why do we want to stick within 6 million gold? Well, the reason why we want to really stick within 6 million gold if we can is because the golden opportunity milestone doesn't give a lot from the leaderboard perspective of it all. And so 6 million caps that out, and that's where you're going to get all the extra goodies from that milestone. Now, as we've already gone over, our gold income in September was 291,581,240. Over the 30 days, that gave us 9.7 million gold. So if you were to stick on this sort of strategy here, your gold balance should keep increasing. It should always be going upwards. And training material wise, again, we know there are 3 characters coming out a month. So as long as we are just building the characters that are coming out, our gold training material balance should also be increasing all the time. However, we've got to come up with a bit of a strategy, and BPG last month, what was I going to do? So in September, the plan that we came up with, the strategy that we had come up with was to start building the Orcus members, unlock Sentinel, get him built up over a small period of time. That didn't go too well. Venom and Red Goblin. Basically, I'm working on a backlist of the 2024 characters. We are so close to getting them all to level 100 now. And once we're there, we are then only going to be going forwards. So I've been focusing on my raid teams and getting them up to level 100 and gear tier 18 or 19 if they require it. We then have... I was then planning on working on Out of Time and Cabal with unlocking some of the Orcus members. Obviously, at this point in time, we didn't know what the unlock methods were for the Orcus team. We didn't know how, if it was going to be this slow drip that we had with the Annihilators, if they were going to change, if they were going to pivot. So we were just working off of what we knew overall. What actually happened, though? So we started taking up the Orcus members. We were working on our raid teams. And on the 7th of September, we unlocked Sentinel. And so that we could help our alliance and make it go wider, because there was the alliance events going on where we were getting extra points for the tech nodes in the Orcus raids. So I wanted to unlock Sentinel to help my alliance and build him up straight away so that I could actually use him. And that has paid dividends, because our alliance has been pulling in extra resources from that raid alliance milestone, from that raid alliance event every single week that's been going on. We've just been getting extra resources all the time from that. But then we carried on just doing what we said we were doing. So we were building up Alpha Flight, we were building up Hive Mind, we went into the Out of Time. I then managed to clear get enough resources to go into City in DD7 and clear that. So I then had a time where I was using one day to get my Extreme X-Men up to gear tier 19. They were already level 100. So we wanted to get them up to gear tier 19, and we took Hank Pym to level 100 in gear tier 19 so we could take him in. And then it was back onto it. So we went through the Cabal. We then unlocked Ares at 4 stars, and I wanted to do, I hadn't built him up until I got him to 4 stars as a free-to-play player, because I wanted to get his campaign done in one go. When that happened on the 5th pass, we had his passive, we were able to get his basic, so everything that makes Ares work as a character was there. So I haven't really lost any time, any depreciation from him, because Ares was all about his awakened passive, and we didn't get that until the 5th battle pass. So I didn't see that as a wasted time at all. So we took him straight from level 1 to 100 and gear tier 18. You can see we are still catching up now. We've done Pandapool, we've done Deadpool, we've done Daken. So we've worked on our mercs for money. I've been doing a little bit of Night Stalkers as well, getting them up because they're a raid team and they're going to be really useful. And then I managed to unlock Nimrod near the end of September. So we took him straight to level 100 because that basically makes the Orcus raid certainly at difficulty 2, where we are at the moment as Ock blocked, it makes it fully simmable. So that is very nice. So the total training cost for this month was 229 million gold's worth of training materials, which is just over, as you will see here, the training materials that we had come in to the account on September. So we have had a little bit of a dip in training materials, but this will stop very, very soon. And it's that time again, guys. It is your game. It is your rules. If you want to build a character like, let's say you love Spider-Man, you want to build Spider-Man to the moon, you do that. But just be aware that this is a resource management game. And by sinking those resources into a character like Spider-Man, you might not be able to keep up with the current meta. So do that at your peril. But again, if you don't care about the meta and you just want to play with the characters that you love, all power to you. As long as you're having fun with the game, that is the most important thing. But I want you to remember this: if you are always looking back, you'll never move forwards. And that is so true where Marvel Strike Force is concerned. If you are always looking backwards and doing characters from the past, working on teams like Infinity Watch, the Eternals, all these sort of teams, you're never going to move forwards. The newest characters are always the best characters in the game. Mr. Hartgrave said that very truly as well. The best characters in the game aren't in the game yet. That is a Mr. Hartgrave quote, and I stand by that. The best characters in the game are always the newest characters in the game, and so you want to be building the newest characters in the game. So how are we building for October? Well, this is our plan so far. So we are currently the 4th of October. So I have gone into the legendary section of DD7, and to be honest, I've built Nova and Green Goblin Classic because they are the two most recent legendaries that we have got, other than Black Cat and Old Man Logan. And then I chose Omega Red, and the reason why I chose Omega Red, although he's a slightly older toon, is because he did me absolutely brilliantly in the Escape from Kiln event that we've just had. After that, though, I am going to be back on to the catch-up list. So we are looking at Deadpool from the Mercs for Money. We're also then looking at the Illuminati and finishing off the Night Stalkers. And at some point in time, we're also going to be getting Mephisto. So I need to be aware of that. The rest of the month will all be dictated on when I unlock characters like Omega Sentinel, like Blade, like Oath, and Man-Thing. But I will tell you one thing is that I will not be going backwards. The only time characters from the past will get upgraded is if they become new or reworked. So characters to look out for in the month of October will be the Undying team. They will probably come on the build list because we are in October, it is Halloween, and usually Scopely release a Undying member for Halloween. And rumour has it that this year it's Zombie Scarlet Witch, and that's going to be amazing. And so now comes a time where we look over a strategy, and we've managed that strategy quite well so far from April. We're doing really well. We've nearly caught right up with the game and up to the present day. Now, that isn't all the releases. That is literally just the 2024 releases, and that is all I want to focus on at the moment. And then going into 2025, we will be in a much better place. Will you let me know down below what your strategy is for building in Marvel Strike Force? How do you build your roster? Is there a favourite character you've got that you always build? Again, like I said, let me know down below in the comments. Don't forget, if you found this video helpful, please do consider giving it a like and maybe even share it with one of your alliance mates, because that might help them as well. And until next time, everyone, stay positive.